Terry! Terry!
He's not here, Jack.
Where is he?
He's down at Busy Station.
I've got to see him. Which one's he at?
Look, just hang on a minute, will you, Jack? We'll go down together, eh? In a minute. See yourself down, eh?
Has anybody any idea what really happened?
I don't know. I mean, I've been away and come back to it. I've tried having a word with Rod, but there was no one in. See if he had any information, you know, off the Busies or that.
Daniel wasn't your son, Mr. Sullivan. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yeah. He was born after we were married. But he was pregnant before we were married.
But who is the father?
He doesn't know he's the father. He's lived in Germany for the last 2 years.
What's his name, Mr. Sullivan? Do you have an address for him?
I wonder when the funeral will be.
I'm trying not to think about it.
Well, we've got to think about whether we're going or not.
Oh, we shouldn't go. We don't know the Sullivans that well.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
No, not really. It's ever so sad, and I feel really sorry for Terry, but it's none of our business.
Last time I saw Sue, she looked like she was carrying all the troubles in the world.
When was that?
The other morning.
Oh, we left together, didn't see her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, must have been the morning before then.
Well, we know he's capable of violence when he loses his temper.
He smacked a reporter who was trying to get an interview out of him less than 2 hours after identifying his wife and child's bodies. I mean, I ask you.
Somebody else's child, boss.
Correction, somebody else's child, but his wife. And maybe she's been free and easy again.
Yeah, but not with the real father, boss. Martin, what's his name?
House.
Because he's been in Germany for the last 2 years and was certainly still there at the time of the deaths. And who's this tall guy bearing flowers? We'll have to have a word with him eventually.
Let's have a word with Max Farnham in number 7. He should shed some light on that flower man for us.
You're not coming, then?
No, I'm going to give Mr. Sullivan a time for reflection. Then I'll have another go at him. You see, I just don't go for this suicide option. And what with him not being the child's father...
Pushed?
Or fell. But how did they get up there? And who called the ambulance, Eric?
Any news, Rod? She's been dropping Diana off in town. You know as much as I do until I go in tonight.
Do you know which station our Teddy's at?
Stanley Road.
Oh, thanks. I'd better get down there, eh? See what I can do.
I'll see you down there, Jack, eh? So what do you all lot know then, Rod?
Dunno. Not on the case.
Oh, come on. 2 deaths next door to where you live and you tell me you don't know nothing.
Yeah, well, it's an odd one, isn't it? Suicide would be the easiest outcome, but I don't think they'll believe it.
I'm not enjoying keeping you here, Mr. Sullivan. I know you've been through an awful lot, but there are certain things I need to know. I know that people are capable of a certain level of violence when they're pushed to the edge.
Well, you can't possibly think that I might...
And you flew into a rage when you found out about the true identity of Daniel's father. I think I might have done the same.
I haven't done anything. I'd never hurt them.
And you attacked that reporter, Carol McDermott.
I can't remember. I've told you that.
Then what can you remember about the last 12 hours before we discovered your wife and child's body?
I mean, where's the logic in him taking Sue and Danny up the tower, eh? I mean, it's too, what's that word?
Premeditated.
Yeah, exactly. So they should let Terry out and let him start getting on with his life.
Maybe you're right. Maybe there was no bloke up there after all.
Maybe he just fell off, Rod.
Yeah, but what were they doing up there in the first place?
I don't know. People just do stupid things sometimes, don't they?
Somebody called an ambulance.
What do you mean?
Somebody. A man dialed 999, asked for an ambulance and gave the shop's address.
Who was he?
Well, we're not sure yet. But we know he used the phone by the shops. Do you know it?
Yeah, it's new.
You ever used it?
No. Yeah, yesterday.
But you've a phone at home, Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, but it was after I went through the passageway. I remembered I had this parcel to pick up from the airport, and so I phoned in and I asked somebody else to pick it up for me.
Why didn't you use your phone at home?
Because I only remembered after I followed Sue to the shops.
You followed Sue to the shops. You followed your wife to the shops, and this is the first time you've mentioned it. I think we better start at the beginning, Mr. Sullivan, and you better tell me everything you know. I'm going to regard this as a statement. I'm going to ask you if you have any objections to having this conversation taped. And I'm going to advise you that if you do, this is going to be pointed out at any subsequent proceedings.
We have to be practical. I mean, you're going to have to open up the shop sooner or later. Why not now?
I don't know, do you reckon?
I reckon. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? And I know how much you were looking forward to the opening.
I just don't know what to do, love.
Open it now. And if you wait until tomorrow, people are still going to criticise. So you might as well open it up now and stop moping around.
Don't you think we should wait until after the funeral?
I don't know when the funeral's going to be. I mean, they died under highly suspicious circumstances, and it could be weeks, months even.
I suppose you're right. You come with us?
Oh, of course I will. Straight after dinner.
Wonder where Teddy is now, eh? I mean, I don't really want to, but I suppose I should have a word with him, tell him how sorry we all are and that.
Yeah. Wonder what he'll do. The house must be full of memories. All their things will remind him all the time. God, it's awful. I hope he's with people that are really looking after him.
Let's start at the beginning again, shall we? You went down the passage to the shops because you suspected your wife of meeting someone. A tall, dark-haired man carrying flowers.
I haven't done anything.
You watch them meet. The rage builds up in you. And all the hurt in the past comes flooding back, yes?
No.
He goes to phone. You ring the taxi firm. You tell him he won't be able to pick up the parcel from the airport. And you watch your wife with this other man, yes?
No.
You then waited until he'd gone, having given her the flowers, you walked over and you had an argument.
No.
Somehow or other, you ended up on top of the scaffolding tower. Maybe she was frightened and she ran away from you to get up there. You followed her. There was a scuffle and they fell. You were filled with remorse. You rang an ambulance. You went off on a bender. Am I getting close to it, Mr. Sullivan?
No, I did see you talking to that bloke, but I just walked away.
Oh, you knew the chap, did you?
Yeah, he worked in Sue's office. She said there was nothing between them. I don't know, I just don't know.
No. You don't know, do you? There's a doctor here to see you, Mr. Sullivan. He wants a blood sample. It's just routine.
Leo's been telling Gemma all sorts about the deaths. She'll be waking up screaming tonight.
You could take them off someone if you like. To help take their minds off it.
Oh, I'll be made up, Mars. Yeah, let me get you some cash.
Nah, you're all right. I'll take them somewhere that doesn't cost anything.
You sure?
Yeah. Where are they?
They're in the back. Thanks, Mars.
You're welcome. How's the job hunting going?
Oh, I'm going to leave that for the time being. I don't want to bother Terry with any of that now. I'll probably have to cover for him on the cab anyway. Which means I might be asking a favour of you, Mars. You know, with the kids and that.
No problem.
Thanks.
I know he's a mate of yours. But you think he could be capable of murder if he lost his temper?
Give over, Mars. He thought the world of him.
Oh, what about the celebrity? Did you cancel her?
Hey, I never said I had a well-known celebrity, did I? All I said was I had a very special lady to open the shop, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's been here all the time.
Run!
is a little embarrassing because it's Mr. Farnham I wanted to interview, and sometimes...
Oh, I don't have a problem with Patricia being here. Don't worry about that.
Oh, sorry, I assumed you wanted to talk to us.
No,
both.
no. Stay, please. How can we help?
Well, it seems highly likely that you may have been one of the last people to see Mrs. Sullivan and her son alive. One of the last neighbours, that is. Mr. Johnson from the bungalow says that on the morning in question, a tall, dark man arrived with flowers just as Mr. Sullivan had left in the taxi. Mrs. Sullivan seemed a little upset, and you went over to see her. Is that correct?
Yes.
But we left together.
I'd forgotten something. Had to come back. My credit card.
You found it. I was with you, then we left.
My garage card, I mean. The one I used to fill my car up with.
And you did go over and talk to Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes, it's as Mr. Johnson described it. A tall man, arrived with flowers for Sue, Mrs. Sullivan, and she seemed very upset. As he was leaving, I was outside, and I went over to see if she was all right.
And what did she say?
Oh, she said very little. I asked her if she was all right, and she said yes. So I gestured over to Mick that there didn't seem to be anything to be concerned about, and decided to leave it at that.
I came home to see if she was all right, and Mick said to me that she'd gone down the passageway to the shops, and that this dark-haired fella had called round. So I went down the passageway to the shops, and I saw her talking to that Graham. And she saw me, and I walked away, and that was the last I saw of her.
She told you she was pregnant. What? You didn't know? You're her husband and you didn't know she was pregnant? And you didn't know where you were last night?
I can't remember. I had a few drinks.
What was that argument about yesterday?
Argument?
An argument so fierce and loud it upset your next door neighbour, Diana Spence. What was that all about?
It was about that bloke Graham from the office.
Did you accuse your wife of having an affair with him?
I asked her what was going on. She said he kept pestering her, and I asked her if she led him on, and we argued.
Did you hit her?
No.
Do you consider yourself a man capable of violence?
I'd sooner walk away from a fight.
What did your wife say when you asked her whether the baby was yours or Graham's?
I've told you I didn't know she was pregnant. I'd never hurt her, believe me, honest. I'm not a violent man.
Well, Terry, you might be very surprised to find out how many people think you are. What did your wife say when you accused her of having an affair?
Sue? Terry? All right, Buzz. I've had better days since.
How's Terry?
I don't know, he's still with the busies.
So what do you think his chances are then?
Chances of what?
Getting off, buddy?
Getting off? What's he got to get off from?
Oh, I know he's your best mate and everything and all that, man, but I mean, I'm only asking what everyone else is asking, aren't I?
Well, don't be staring at him, lad.
Look, I've known you a long time, haven't I? I'm on your side.
Yeah, well, don't go saying that, then. He's got enough problems, hasn't he?
Listen, I'm just asking this to try and be nice, all right?
Go on.
Well, if there's anything I can do, just ask.
Yeah, appreciate it. But I don't know what's going on myself yet.
And don't bite me head off.
What now?
Are you absolutely convinced he never done it?
I think you did it.
What?
Well, if you think that he could do it, I think that you could do it as well. Of course he didn't do it, you maggot.
Thank you. Max, what are you hiding?
Hide? Not hiding anything, I told that policeman everything.
Max, you can kid a wife, but you can never kid a mistress. And I was your mistress before I married you.
I've told you before not to say that. We're married now. Respectably married. There's no need to drag up the past. A lot of...
Max, don't waffle. Don't change the subject. We had 2 years of clandestine meetings. 2 years of you deceiving Susanna. 2 years in which I came to learn an awful lot more about you than anyone has before.
I lied then for us. It's still us that I put first, and you know it.
Max, you can lie to a wife, but you can never lie to a mistress because she knows exactly what level of deceit you're capable of.
For goodness sake, stop talking like that.
Then tell me what you've got to hide and stop lying about coming home because you forgot something, because I just don't believe it.
All right. All right. Patricia, sit down and keep calm. Now, look, I have sort of lied to you. A little. But I've hated doing it, and I want you to know that I shall never lie to you ever again. Yesterday morning, I came home because I'd arranged to meet somebody.
Somebody?
I want you to understand that it was all perfectly innocent, and I felt that it would be easier all round if I didn't tell you. In hindsight, I realise I should have gone above board and told you.
Max, what are you talking about?
Susanna!
Susanna? Oh, you've been seeing your ex-wife behind my back? Has she been here?
No. Don't jump to conclusions.
Better be good.
You can't think there's anything going on between us.
Now, don't you twist this round to try and make me seem neurotic.
We've been having a few problems with Matthew concerning his new school, which needed more than a few phone calls. I should have told you.
Damn right you should have done. My God, I bet she's loved this. Revenge on the woman who stole her husband.
No, now you mention it, she's never revelled in the fact that you didn't know that I was seeing her.
Don't talk stupid, Max. Of course she has. She might not have shown it, but she's been having a whale of a time seeing you while I didn't know about it. And anyway, how would you know she'd revelled in it or not? You're a man.
Look, I think I know my own...
Wives? My God, it's taken 2 deaths and a police investigation for you to admit this. She is not going to make a fool of me again, right?
I'll tell her.
No, I'll tell her.
Yeah, but you do believe me, don't you?
Yes, surprisingly enough, I do. And I also think that I know Susanna rather better than you do. So, any more true confessions before I confront a conniving woman? If I find out that you deceived me in any other way...
One small thing.
How small?
It wasn't my fault. And then when it happened, it was too late. And then I couldn't back down in front of the round table.
Max!
Look, yesterday I arranged to meet Susanna because she was putting pressure on me over Matthew. And, well, as it happened, she didn't even turn up anyway, but... Something else. Something I should have told you. I should have told you straight away. But I had to lie because I didn't tell you straight away. And then, as ever, the lies just, they seemed to snowball.
Max, what have you done?
When you couldn't make it to the dinner, in honour of the Dutch contingent at the round table, well... Susanna was there. It was her idea.
What? And how far did you take this being married?
Well, Geoffrey and Lucinda took Susanna home and I came back here to you.
And told me what a perfectly marvellous time you'd had.
Yeah, with the Dutch people.
You and she have made a fool of me, Max, and I'm not having it. God, when I think of that barbecue, you and she, Geoffrey and Lucinda, you must have had a real giggle at my expense. Well, don't think I'm leaving it at that.
Well, what are you going to do?
Not sure. I'm going to go for a drive and no doubt I will think of something.
But...
That's it. Come on, everybody out. Come on, outside in a single line if you want serving. I said out, didn't I? Come on. Hey, come on. Hi, Chris.
Oh, hiya. Hiya. Hectic, to say the least. But we're learning.
You'll need to. You're as busy as this every day. You two will be able to retire in a year or two, won't you?
Oh, I think most people, especially the kids, will they come in? Well, you know why.
Oh, I know, yeah. Still policemen hanging around now.
Yeah, one constable, he said, well, it's wide open. I mean, he reckons that they keep Terry in much longer. It's not going to look very good for him.
I can't see him hurting anybody if it comes to that.
You feel like you don't know people, do you, when something like this happens?
There's no point in you hanging on, Mr. Sullivan.
What's happened?
Calm down, don't panic. We just need to talk to him for a little longer. It's all starting to unravel slowly, but we just need a little more time.
How is he?
He's fine. He's having a rest, and he'll be home just as soon as we're happy that we know as much as your son does. So just get yourself off, and don't worry, it's all routine.
Come on, Jack. It's all right. Tell him we're thinking of him, and anything he needs, he's got. And tell him that his dad and his best mates are waiting to take him home.
I'll tell him.
Mother Love and a whole lot of sinners are hoping that those they have wronged will either forgive or forget next.